Do you need permission to practice Irish paganism? Well, Daggy Agus Fáilte. Hi, hello, and welcome. Jon O'Sullivan from the Irish Pagan School here. And we get a lot of emails, of course, as an education body focusing on Irish history, culture, heritage, mythology, folklore, and spirituality. But there's one particular type of email that does come up time and time again, and it's this particular type of diaspora dilemma, where the email generally opens with either I have no Irish ancestry that I know of, I've not been able to trace my roots, or I've done like genetic testing, or I've been able to trace my family tree back to locations. And some people go as far as like, I'm X% Irish, or I'm 0% Irish, but I'm still called or curious about Irish paganism. Can I learn it, or can I study this with you? Um, and like, there's a lot of different things to talk about here, but to jump straight to an answer, the answer not hard to say, yes, yes, of course you can. Whether you have genetic lineage, whether you have ancestry direct or not, whether you are of a different culture, of a different land, if you are curious or called to study Irish paganism, absolutely do come to the table and see what you want to learn or see where your curiosity leads you. Now, there's a difference between studying something and then practicing something. And when we talk about maybe practicing or living in a practice of spirituality, that's where things do get a little bit more nuanced and do get a little bit more challenging, really. And this is where we have to bring to the table a word that not many people enjoy hearing, especially people in the diaspora all around the world. It's this concept of appropriation. Essentially, appropriation can be easily defined as profiting at the expense or cost of or over native voices or teaching. Now, what do we mean by profiting? It could be anything from financial profiting, like, intrinsic money, but it could also be social profiting, as in positioning yourself as the person who went and studied, and therefore you get social credit because you have some more nuanced experience that someone else would, and trying to put yourself between any other individual and the direct voices or direct teachings of that native culture. Now, I'm not out here saying that you have to listen to me and only me. Absolutely fucking not. I would say there are very, very, very talented, very, very informed, very connected Irish pagan practitioners on the island, some of which weren't born on the island, but live here and have nativized and grown within our culture and embrace it within themselves. And it's not one way or Laura and John way, our way or the highway. Absolutely fucking not. It is about approaching it respectfully and approaching it with curiosity and open-mindedness, but knowing that you're approaching a culture. Now, this is where there's that challenge is like, well, does is Irish and actually a culture? Well, yeah, it is. People may have fled Ireland a long time ago in the 1800s, may have emigrated out of Ireland in like the 1980s, 1990s. There are many, many reasons why people of Irish descent or Irish ancestry find themselves in other parts of the world. They probably brought aspects of their culture with them, but that doesn't mean they are 100% of the root culture because the Irish culture has grown and changed within the landscape of Ireland itself. Now, that doesn't mean they're any better or worse than a native Irish person at all. But what I would say is when you are looking to learn or to do things ethically and honorably, it is about going back to source culture. It is about going back and talking to native voices and native teachers wherever possible. That's why the Irish Pagan School isn't just all of John and Laura classes. It's other teachers too. It's other native Irish teachers who provide a whole wealth of experience and information to our community. Because that's what we want. We want everyone to be able to, share what they know with a global market space, so that anyone coming to this table to try and learn about Irish paganism will find a teacher that fits and connects for them. Because, not everyone is going to vibe with me, and that's totally fine too. But to kind of get back to this concept of appropriation, um, we do see it unfortunately time and time again, where people learn from native indigenous practices, and it's not even Irish, like it's other cultures as well, other native practices, and then they set themselves up in business to teach what they were taught, even though they're not originally of that root culture or they don't give back energetically or in any way to that root culture. That's what we mean by profiting. Like if someone is functioning in the right relationship, if someone has learned from a mystical art from someone in some other culture and has received permission in teaching that and passing on that wisdom, and part of their right relationship with that source culture is giving back or directing people to source, then absolutely, I'm not speaking negatively against having that relationship and sharing the information. The appropriation as opposed to appreciation, that to me is appreciation. Someone appreciates a culture, appreciates a practice, or and they learn as much about it to do it for themselves, or they receive permission from source culture. And this is where that permission word does come in, and I do want to loop back to that, so stick with me. um it's a challenging area, but in some ways it's really not. Why would you not go to native sources to learn about it, to learn at the core where that information comes from? You could learn the mythology by reading it yourself, absolutely, but unless you have stood on the hill of Tara, I have the privilege of being born on the island and being many generations worth of O'Sullivan on this island, but still connecting with the landscape is a function of being within the land. In the same way as connecting with other landscape and other cultures and other kind of ethnicities does involve a connection to their land. So yeah, you can read all the books you want, absolutely, but there is an extra experiential element, and this is why we talk about at the school this three pillars model. There's like learn the information, experience or practice in it, and then integrate it. That's where integration is the third step, where it becomes part of a lived practice, a lived spiritual experience, and your personal focus really going forward. So the experience part does mean going to sources where possible. Now, not everyone has the ability to travel to Ireland and be immersed in the landscape, of course. But that doesn't mean you can't go to Irish Voices. You can't get Irish connection or Irish experience. Or the motto we have at the school is an authentic Irish connection. I'm not looking to sell you shamrocks and crocks of gold and leprechauns. I'm looking to share with you the actual lived history of people on this island, the spiritual experiences of connecting with this landscape. That's what we're doing here. So, permission. I said I'd come back to it. Do you need permission? Well, I don't know anyone who could give you permission. Now, if you wanted to take something I have taught you and try and teach that to someone else, well, yeah, absolutely. I'm the content creator there. Come and seek permission to me for that, for the content, for the education, for the books. With a great conversation, someone contacted saying, listen, I'd like to read an excerpt out at a community meeting that I do of one of Laura's books. Can I seek permission to do that? And checked it through, had the conversation with Laura, and I was like, yeah, we can give that because the involvement and the interaction was about a community service and it aligned with our beliefs. So we were okay with that. The person wasn't looking to profit. The person wasn't looking to put themselves in between native voices. They referred back to the sources. They actually held up a physical copy of the book to refer back to source, and they instructed the other people hearing about it to come and learn from source culture as well. Did everything right. Absolutely spot on. So when it comes to content created by content creators, by educators, by books, yeah, we have an onus and a right there. So permission should be sought for that. But when it comes to engaging with a spiritual practice, living within those spiritual beliefs, having those right relationship conversations with gods, guides, guardians, ancestors, deity, whatever it is, I don't think someone should stand between you and that personal relationship. So no, I don't think someone needs to ask for permission to come and learn Irish paganism. If you are called, if you're curious, whether you have ancestry or not, if you're looking to come to the table openly, honestly, with curiosity and compassion, you're willing to honorably, well, I keep using the word honor, but it's a very big important element to it. If you want to function ethically and honorably in this core coimhnis, this right relationship with your own spirituality, with your own self, with the gods, guides, and guardians of Irish paganism, absolutely come. You're welcome. There's no reason why anyone couldn't come and learn or shouldn't come and learn, as long as they're approaching respectfully and willing to be part of the community. Now, in the past, people have been removed from our community in the Irish Pagan School, absolutely. But that's not denying them their connection to their spirituality. That's not denying them their right to explore their ancestry, their deity practice, their gods, guides, guardians, or the land of Ireland itself. Absolutely fucking not. That's denying them access to vulnerable people within their community because they have been deemed a threat. It's as simple as. We don't kick people out of the Irish Pagan School because they disagree with us. We remove people from our community who act from places of intolerance, who act or like, against native voices, who act from places of racism or privilege or like as in toxic privilege. I don't mean privilege. Everyone has privilege. But people who engage in homophobia, transphobia, any hate of any kind, that will get you removed from our community and from our school. But that's not denying you your spirituality. Your spirituality is yours to pursue in any way, shape, or form. So when it comes to this concept of permission, I don't see how anyone should stand between another person and their spiritual faith, their spiritual practice at all. Even me as an educator in this, as someone that people call a Dagda priest, um, my role isn't to interpret your Dagda dreams for you or to, you know, give you secret Dagda recipes for the perfect sandwich. You know, I'm hoping he gives me those recipes eventually, but it's my role is to be a guide, is to be beside you on your journey and to point out, it's like, hey, there's this piece of information. Here's a way to experience that. And maybe once you've integrated that, hey, there's this other piece of information. We're guides. That's what a teacher is supposed to be. So again, permission? No, you don't have to have permission to practice Irish paganism. If you're looking to teach Irish paganism and you're not of native culture of the island itself, that might be a different conversation to be had. Because why would you put yourself between native voices and other people to learn from it, if that makes sense? But I'm not going to get around into it all over again. I could cycle back in. Really, what it comes down to is we get lots of these emails, and I feel bad every single time we get these emails because it speaks to a disconnected experience that the person is having. It speaks to a longing or a loneliness that the person may be experiencing in themselves, within their spiritual community, or lack of spiritual community. We have many people who come from particular places within the States, for example, who are very fundamental in their form of particular spiritual worship. And that means that these individuals who differ from that spiritual path don't feel safe. They can't come out as spiritually inclined in some other way because of the fundamental rabid nature of this particular form of spiritual worship in this belt of air states within America, shall we say. Now, I'm speaking around it because, linguistics and stuff being picked up in algorithms these days, I don't even know. But essentially, I feel for those people. And that's why hopefully this video will be of use to. Hopefully this video will find, you wherever you happen to be, person of the diaspora, person with Irish heritage, not Irish heritage. You don't even have to have a drop of DNA in you because we acknowledge spiritual ancestry as well. We acknowledge the transmigration of spirit. So, who's to say that the energy in you now was not energy previously manifested in Ireland before? It is about anyone willing to come, act honorably, openly, curious, with compassion and respect. Absolutely come and have a conversation, learn what you can. And if you see someone else who might benefit, point them to the same resources. Share in a peer-to-peer conversation as opposed to I know better and I'm going to teach you. Why not provide them the opportunity to come and learn where you have learned yourself? And if you're a member of the diaspora anywhere at all, and you know people who might benefit from connecting with Irish paganism, send this to them as well. Because this message is for you. This message is specifically for those who suffer from this, suffer, or who are challenged by, challenge, I think is a better word, not suffer. Suffer is negative connotations, but challenge. Because a challenge is easily overcome if you're willing to step up and do the learning and do the work. So this particular diaspora dilemma or challenge, do you need permission? No, you don't need permission. But you don't have to take that from me either. Come and learn. See if it's for you. Explore your spiritual aspects of your life because we're more than just physical beings, emotional beings, and mental beings. There is something else to who and what makes up this human condition. And it might be Irish paganism that fits for you. It might not be. but that doesn't mean you can't come and learn and see if it is or not. So this maybe is a bit rambly. I have an onus and a responsibility as an educator to make sure that we're advocating for Native voices wherever we can, because we too suffer from it. People take our free guides from, again, irishpagan.school/free, whole lot of free resources, free content. All of that is there as a community service to get you content out there, to get that authentic information out there, to challenge all the plastic paddy whackery that has been varnished on top of what is root and real Irish culture. So we want everyone to have access to that. But some people do take that and then decide to repackage it and present it at conferences and conversations, thinking that it's not going to get back to us. We do hear about it. It does come back to us when people take our content. And, we have conversations where we need to have conversations. And in other cases, no luck to anyone who steals from a witch or from a priest of the Morgan or a priest of the Dagda. So it is about acting honorably and ethically as we go forward. But no, you don't need permission to follow your own spiritual path and your own spiritual curiosity. And don't accept anyone standing between you and your faith and you and your deity. If someone's going to stand beside you, act like a guide, maybe act like a guardian if you need assistance in that way. Absolutely. But if someone's going to, this is the words of deity, you must adhere to what I am saying to you. And no, don't go and talk to the deity yourself. You have to listen to what I tell you. That's not a healthy spiritual practice either, because spirit is within us. It's our connection to that aspect of self that is worth exploring and empowers us in so many ways. So, I've already mentioned the irishpagan.school/free. It's over a year's worth of free resources. If you were to just pick one thing and do it every day, over a year's worth of resources there, be it a podcast, a video, a resource to look up, something to read. We even have a lot of cheat sheets about the Irish fire festivals. We just passed Bealtaine when I did this video, so that's a really great one to pick up and be able to engage with the energies of the Irish cycle of spirituality as well. But from us here, look after yourself, honestly. You are unique. Every single one of you, whoever you are watching this video, wherever you are, you're unique. You're a miracle of manifestation. No matter at what point you are in your life, you are a miracle of manifestation. And so honor that, respect that, and look after yourself. Until next time, Slán, take care. Goodbye.